You see my point? So if some little event like that can happen, look what Regan go. Now, let's go to verse 9. The kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her, lament for her when they see the smoke of her burning. Your business is completely gone up in smoke. Okay? Now let's use that as an illustration. Sad part of our history. When the Twin Towers got hit by the planes, the destruction like that, the death like that, and we're still got the fallout from that. They're still arguing over how they're going to build around that site for the memorial and all this kind of stuff. How many people, merchants and what have you, if you still read it every now and then in the paper, all the money I lost. Look what it cost me. See that? That's just a little mini preview. And there was, as a result of what was operated out of those two buildings, literally, probably, I would say probably at least $1 million worth of trade or better a day transacted out of those buildings in merchants and whatnot, if not more. I mean, I have no really clue, but I know for the types of businesses that were there, enormous amounts of money. All of a sudden it's gone. Forget the loss of life, that's not important. It's the money I lost. That's what people think about. Give me another illustration. The planes, because of the big volcanic eruption over in Iceland, couldn't fly. They lost over $1 billion some dollars. My gosh, we'll never recover that. It was more important for them to want to fly. We don't care if anybody gets killed, but we want to fly. You see my point? Think about it. What's important? All right. Verse 10. Standing afar off for fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. The merchandise of gold, silver, precious stones, pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, all fine wood, which is an aromatic wood, by the way, and all manner of vessels of ivory, all manner of vessels of precious wood, brass, iron, marble, cinnamon, odors, ointments, frankincense, wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, beasts, sheep, horses, chariots, slaves, and souls of men. They just about named everything that's in business right there, right? Lost. Verse 14, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which are dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand far off in the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen, and purple and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones, and pearls. The memories. Look what I had. I don't have it anymore. It's gone. I've lost it all. For in 1 hour so great riches has come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors, as many as trade by the sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, Alas, alas, that great city, wherein were we made rich, and all that had ships in the sea by the reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour she is made desolate. Okay, that's man's view. What's the underlying statement there? Materialistic things. Nobody's buying anymore. Can't sell nothing. So, my pockets are empty. Okay.
But isn't that normal for human beings to talk about what they could have made or what they lost? I know my dad used to talk about World War II. And he said when the Japanese were rounding up, tucked into the concentration camp, so I could have bought this land over here because, you know, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, why didn't you? But, you know, I should have, I did that.
Should have, would have, could have.
Yeah.
But the point of it is, we are thinking money-wise.
Yeah, our mind is still toward that. Yeah.
Okay. Now, you're retired, right? Mm-hmm. Are you mindful of your retirement from a standpoint of what you buy and how much money you shell out every month?
I'm retired, but I'm still working.
Still working, okay. Brother Don's retired. Now, do you watch your P's and Q's as far as dollars and cents? Okay, you see we're conditioned to that, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay, Donnie, You're still a ways but you know, you'll get here faster than you think. Okay? So we are mindful to prepare for that. But do you really know if you're going to be able to retire or not? No. Do you know you're going to be able to live comfortably? No. Excuse the expression, is a gaming deal, it's a crapshoot. Because you don't know. All of a sudden you get real sick. All of a sudden a tornado hits the house. They say we don't have those in California, but we do. You can be wiped out just like that. But the thing of it is, we're materialistically what have you.
Right, minded.
Okay. Who in here knows how to survive? Anyone here think they can live off the land?
Walk up and down and pick up his cans.
Okay, well, yeah, but the problem is, nobody's buying aluminum cans. I do that now as it is. Scrap metal, well, I pick it up all the time. Hey, that's carried me through a few weeks, trust me. Okay, but who in here has the gumption to go out and have to kill a rat in order to eat it?
Oh, squirrel.
Or a squirrel?
It's a little hard to catch, but it tastes good.
Yeah, see?
My family's north.
Dogs? Anybody kill a dog and eat it? Vietnamese do that. Well, they might. You never know. Be careful. Do you remember?
Not around my house.
Just to throw this out for a tidbit. You remember in 1975 or whatever, we brought all the boat people from Vietnam here to Stockton?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, down at the dog pound, the animal shelters, they were getting all the dogs. Man, they were happy. They were cleaning them out. Until they found out they were taking them home and killing them and eating them. That was delicacy. What are we having tonight? Oh, we're having roast leg of pit bull. Okay, but the point of it is, could you survive? Anybody ever kill a chicken? Butcher it and eat it? All right, you have to do that. You never know you're going to bring that. Okay? What's always amazed me is somebody that goes, dove hunting. You shoot the dove and then you clean it. What do you get? How much meat do you get off
Not
it?
much.
Not even as big as it. Huh? You eat a dozen to feed one. Oh. But the thing of it is, can you survive? Most people don't know how to. Their idea of survival is going to the grocery store. All right? When's the last time anybody here canned anything? Anybody here canned vegetables, fruits, or anything in? Probably not anymore, but years ago, wasn't that a big deal? My wife still does that. She'll can cucumbers, tomato juice. She's just crazy on that stuff. Yeah, there you go. But the problem is, were you eating it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We used to wolf it down big time. Okay. But now it doesn't hardly pay to can because you can buy the stuff so cheap at the store. But the point of it is, there might come a time when you need to know how to do that again. Anyone here ever dry fruit, apricots or whatever? Oh man, apricots are good. Dry, little baby. Yeah. Point of it is, the aspect of surviving. Now, okay. Let's go to verse 20. Now, just as a sideline, my Bible had a little footnote here. It says the human view of Babylon. Note it was all materialistically. Now, the next term they have in here is called the angelic view of Babylon. Let's see what that comes about and how it's portrayed. Rejoice over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for God hath avenged you on her. Isn't it interesting, different aspect? We look at it from two different points of view, don't we? And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall the great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more. What's the city, Atlantis? Is that the one that's supposed to be the sunken city that just disappeared off the face of the earth? Okay. Is there truth to that? Is it a true deal?
They're found here a few years back something that could have been some big city submerged in the Mediterranean.
Okay, so we'll use that as an example. Now, there's a city in Pompeii, or two examples, I've already gave away. Pompeii, who remembers what happened to Pompeii? Army? Big volcano. How long did it last? It didn't take matter if we sucked it up, swallowed it, covered it up, didn't it? And when they do some excavating around there, it's interesting. Yeah, and what are they finding? A lot of good things, but could you imagine somebody sitting down at the table in a chair, frozen in time? How quickly did it happen? Pretty quick. Now, here's a statement. Yeah, right. But here's a statement. What did Christ say in Matthew when he talked about in a moment, not a moment, but lost my train of thought. How quickly is it going to happen, this destruction?
Moment, twinkling of an eye.
Okay, but like what? A thief in the night.
Yeah.
We're not ready for it, but well, when it happens, boom, it's got you. So the aspect of being prepared. Now, I'm going to ask the infamous question again. How many got their earthquake whip together? Got one. I've told you that how many times now in the last month or 6 or 8 months. See, if you're not prepared, pay the consequences, right? Get your earthquake kits together, or emergency kits, you want to call them. Got to have a lot of water. Okay, here we go. So Babylon's going to be found no more. Just like Pompeii would be. Supposedly the mythical city of Atlantis just disappeared. Okay, verse 22. And the voice of harpers and musicians and pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee. No craftsman of whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee. And the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all. Now a millstone is a big grinder. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all of thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, and by the sorcerers were all nations deceived. Now note that sorceries were the nations deceived. Madison Avenue. I've got a coffee pot for you, and it's only $19.95. Here's what I'll do. You can program it. You can do it. A big sales pitch. Right? And we follow it up with line and single. See, we always look at the word sorceries here as a means of what? Witchcraft or something like that. But how is it employed? How is it used? Pardon? They get you to buy it. They create that mindset in you that you've got to have it. Do religions work that way? Yes, a lot of them do. Car salesman. Anyone ever been a car salesman? How do they get you to buy a car? They create that necessity that you have to have that car. And it's cheap. Okay. Is it really cheap? No, anytime you buy a car, sooner or later you're going to spend money on it.
Well, you lost money as soon as you bought it.
Well, from the depreciation.
I brand new at Ford.
But the point of it is, as soon as you bring it home, you start driving it. What's the very first thing that you normally have to do? Oil change. What's an oil change cost these days?
Over $30.
Yeah, you take it in, you do it yourself, it's still not cheap. Well, you know,
Diesel is like $100.
yeah, so you've got money. Sooner or later, you're going to wear the tires out. What do tires cost nowadays? Depends on what brand you want to buy and how crazy you want to get.
And insurance.
And insurance. Oh yeah, lovely insurance. Don't you just love that stuff? I get a good driver's discount because I'm listed as a good driver. Yeah, they haven't followed me around lately. But you know how I'm a good driver? I've got any tickets lately. Notice I said lately. Okay. But the point is you got insurance. So you've got this little price, but it's all the little amenities that go with it. It's going to cost you. Yeah, then the price goes up, but especially depending on what it is. Okay, so here's the thing. Verse 24, the last thing we look at. And in her was found the blood of the prophets and of the saints and all that was laid upon the earth. That's an interesting statement there. And in her, remember we're talking about Babylon, we're talking about the merchants, we're talking about the world system itself. It's talking about deception. It's talking about how we can be deceived. And I'm sure everyone in here, if you're really truthful with yourself, it's something that you've ever bought,